I think it's gonna be close. Play Garrison. Garrison's really nice here. Get the volunteers. Brewver's a crazy engine still. I mean, you do have to kill him. I think maybe he didn't see the destroy ability, or he thought this would be better. Regis is still huge. It's going to come down to whether Brewver gets us more points, or if Regis's point slam is big enough. And if this flighter triggers again. We'll see. There's the Igni. We don't lose Brewver. We just had that one guard at the end, which is another great reason to play it. We'll play our Barclay here. This is going to be nice. Give us a lot of points. This was supposed to be on the melee row. Pretend you all didn't see that. Deploy this. Might as well put it on you. If we lose by 1, it's because we were dumb, but I think we're far enough ahead that doesn't matter. I meant to play this melee, but then I tried to went to click Garrison and dropped him in that row. You know how it is, guys. And he's down by, what is this, 55? Let's see if Regis is big enough. I don't think it's that big. No, we're still up by 10. GG. So today, I wanted to try out Dwarves just because, well, actually, there's a couple reasons. One, I like Dwarves. They're a pretty fun deck. And 2 is the Garrison rework. So, Garrison's location, Resilience, deploy, spawn, and play a base copy of Bronze Soldier from your starting deck. Now, this is pretty good. You may have seen people trying this out in Nilfgaard with the soldiers. But we're going to try it out with Dwarves, because a lot of the Bronze Dwarves are actually soldiers, including the most important one, which is one I wanted to check. I'll talk about later. But we also have the Order, which is boost an allied soldier in all its copies by 1 and give them 1 armor. Now, it's worth there's 2 things to note with this. One is that Mahakam Volunteers is a soldier. So you can create a Mahakam Volunteers and summon 2 out of your deck, almost like you're playing Novigradian Justice. And that's really good. So this plays for 12, and then you have the Order set up. And the other thing is the other important one is the Rowdy Dwarves are soldiers. So the Dwarf tokens are soldiers. So when you spawn a bunch of Rowdy Dwarves, and alternatively, the other important one here is Dwarf Berserker. If you spawn a bunch of Rowdy Dwarves or Dwarf Berserkers from transforming with Monroe, they're all soldiers, and you get a bunch of the ones with the same name, and you can use the Garrison Order on them. One of the most interesting, well, one of the best things you can do round 3, for example, is you have Garrison carry over from round 2, play Zoltan's Company, boost them all up to 3, an extra armor, because this gives them an extra armor as well. And then you start round 3 with Zoltan's Company, you get 15 points right away, they'll have 2 armor, and then you play Brewver. That's pretty good. So that's an example of what you can do in a shorter or longer round 3. But yeah, I think Garrison's really cool, and I think it fits well here. So we're really wanting to run Dwarves, mostly to test this out. As far as the rest of the deck, going for Oniromancy, this is, instead of Royal Decree, I went with Oniromancy because we want to play the Garrison earlier. And we also have Novigradian Justice. You'll notice there's no Heat Wave. You can cut Oniromancy for Heat Wave and substitute Royal Decree in here somewhere, and then reduce the Surrender. That's an option here. It's just, I wanted to, I just couldn't find something I wanted to cut, so we ran with this. So we have Oniromancy, Zoltan Warrior, all the Zoltans, got Monroe. If Monroe isn't locked, he's, for pure Dwarves, he's better now than he was before, because you can transform more of the Rowdy Dwarves into the Berserkers. However, he's not, most of the time that's not going to happen, and his nerf is a nerf, but if the opponent doesn't lock him, he can be better than before in this deck in particular, because you have a lot of Rowdy Dwarves to transform, not just 2 or 3. So long round, he can do quite a bit of work still. We've got the Garrison we talked about. Brewver, long round, short round with the Company, up to you how you use them. I like to pressure round 1 on even with this, and then save the Garrison and Justice tempo plays around 2 or 3. It's an option you can do as well. We got the Zoltan Shive here for the carryover, and the Zoltan Scoundrel naturally. Here's the Surrender. This is in here just because we had to cut Heatwave. So I wanted to run Heatwave in the deck, like I said. Couldn't find space, so I ended up cutting it, and then running the Garrison. You could cut, if you want Heatwave, because Heatwave's really good. You can argue for cutting either one of the Zoltans, which I don't recommend. You could drop the Oneiromancy down to a Decree, like I said. Or you can choose to cut either Brewer or Monroe. I don't like cutting Monroe or Brewer, so I went with the no heat wave approach, but it can be a problem in some matchups for sure. But instead we have Surrender. I chose Surrender because I see a lot of Nilfgaard soldiers, and Surrender is pretty good against them because it removes the armor, which disables the barricade, and it damages them. So it's good rope punish against that deck in particular. We've got the Zoltan's Company, spawns a bunch of Dwarves. Barclay has a nice finisher, re-armor. You know what he does. The Volunteers we want to get off of Garrison. You can also get them off of Justice, but it's generally better to do it off of Garrison. At least in my experience. Because Justice is nice for getting out stuff like the Guard as well, because it spawns the guy on the melee row. But you can use it for either. Then we have the Agitator. I have not tried out Dwarven Agitator since the card was buffed. And I realized that when I was looking at the Dwarf cards. And at 4 provisions, I tossed him in here because he's pretty nice. I think we'll get some good use out of him, especially against all the pings that I see from the soldier decks nowadays. The extra armor on stuff can mitigate a lot of damage and add up to a bunch of value over time, especially in those matchups. We've got the Peller for an unlock, Purify rather. Most likely it's just going to be on your Brewer or on Monroe, but we'll see. We have the Dwarf Berserkers, the 1 Squirrel, Guards, and Skirmishers. You can change these 4 provision cards around a little bit if you want. Like a Spores won't be bad. You could run second Peller if you want. That's not bad. It's up to you how to do these, but I opted to play this way. And this is the deck we're going to be trying out today. Hopefully it does pretty well. It did well when I was playing earlier. Let's see if we can keep that up. Going up this Arachas Swarm. That is very interesting. I'm not too sure what this is going to be then. Cards to watch out for: Predatory Dive. Always remember Predatory Dive against Arachas Swarm. And then we'll see if there's going to be a Mortnart version. We don't have a lock in our deck, so that would actually be kind of scary. Glusty Warp, of course, also a threat. This hand is not bad. I don't want this, but I don't want to draw second Volunteers. We'll go for it. Okay, we can work with this hand. I think we'll pressure with Brewer this round. Vran Warrior. Okay. We definitely want to win on even here. So I do like Company Brewer. Also, it'd be nice to get out the Dwarven Skirmisher for the damage to kill this thing, potentially. He'll have 2 armor. We'll try this.
Scoia tael, attack!
This will defend us pretty well against like a Predatory Dive or something too, because it's low value to kill it. If he has a Griffin, he might just Griffin too. He's going to want to play that. Usually they run Griffin. He's just going to boost it up. It's fine. We'll drop the Zoltan's Company here. It's a relatively large commitment to Company. We want to pressure this round with Brewer. Brewer is weak to movement, so we really want to have that deploy. Well, not to deploy. The first turn gets a bunch of points. This is probably a Golden Necker deck if I had to guess. And it's not. I guess completely wrong. If Bleeding goes to one of these, we could go for a Monroe. Could go for a Monroe. I think we'll do that. No, not the connection. Make sure they're running the right card. And we'll go for this. We were going to play Brewer, but this looks to be a longer round. And we can remove bleeding values with the Monroe transform, which is really nice. And he's just going to give it to us. Let's drop a Mahakam Guard here. Just the round. We have some really nice tempo plays coming up. You have to keep in mind, well, not Golden Necker because of Crimson Curse, which makes me a little interested. Very interested. Glusty Warp still a threat. She-Troll with Glusty Warp combo. We can't interrupt. If we can't interrupt stuff like that, we want to bleed. That's generally how the game works. We want a Squirrel. Not really. Don't want volunteers, though. I said not volunteers. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so we will open up here with this Dwarven Chariot. Really nice. The Dwarf tokens are really nice for also getting out of range of predatory dives. We still have our Broover. That's worth keeping in mind. We're going to want to play him this round, I think. We'll go for carryover on the Garrison. It won't be a lot of carryover because we already used a couple of our token spawners. But I think we want a long round here. Let's play the Garrison. Get all these volunteers out. This one extra armor. Broover is looking pretty good now. I mean, it's not a Renfri deck. He had 15 cards round 1. Crimson Curse. So it's just Rune Mage. Why would it be Rune Mage? Not sure. Unless it is a Shupe deck. You might be onto something there. This might be Shupe. That's looking pretty likely at this point. Okay. If it is Shupe, we could go Oneiromancy for the Justice. Justice, play Agitator or Guard. And then play Broover. I think we will. Where's Justice? I think we'll go with the Guard.
Next time it'll be personal.
Looks like nothing really needs armor, so we'll just hit. We'll hit this one. We get +3 from this Garrison, which isn't the worst thing. And Broover's our next play. It's still our next play. He's gonna have an answer. I think we'll use... We can hold off on the Garrison. It's like 2 extra points when we play Zoltan Warrior, so we don't need to use it. Do lose our Chariot, but we'd have to Forge. Well, and it's not even a Dwarf, so there's the Heatwave on the Broover. Do we want to go with Warrior here? We do want to pressure. We'll play this at least. This gives carryover. He's going to need tempo. He's down 21. So now he's just Shupe or his Radar, whatever he has. Potentially could just be a random deck as well. See, no, there she is. That makes sense. Makes sense. Shupe's going to have Resilience. We want to save a Peller for him, but as long as he doesn't last say Shupe, we'll be fine. We can't fully roast stack here, so I think we'll just drop the Skirmisher. Hit something for 3. Pretty big Lacerate. Pretty big Lacerate. Do we want to... This is vulnerable to Toad Prince. It's the only thing here that's annoying. So I think we'll Scoundrel to get it out of range of Toad Prince. I think we will use this Garrison as well. And we do have the option of Mahakam Forge to reactivate our Skirmisher if we decide that's a good idea. But Toad Prince has it at 3 now. Potentially at 2. There's the Shupe. He needs a lot of points. He's gonna have to go for one of the RNG ones if he wants to win here. Like Destroy or something. He's going for the boost 4. I don't think it's good enough. Still by 14. He does have Glusty Warp. If we force out Glusty Warp, that's pretty good. I would like to hold on to Warrior for round 3. which means we have to do a big tempo here. Let's do Forge, reactivate this guy. We'll fire the 3 damage. Then we'll just drop this Peller. We don't need it anymore because the Shupe doesn't have resilience. No reason to purify that in case he has Mortnart or something. He's down quite a bit still. He's gonna Peller us. 22 is a lot. How big is Glusty Warp? Well, it's only 18 because of the magic lamp. He Glusty Warps now with 5 leader. The slave applies 5 leader charges. That's 7 drones. 7 drones is worth 14 points. 2 of them are already out, so he gains 12 points. Plus 6, it's an 18. Plus this is a 23, I guess it's into 58. So just Glusty Warp with leaders does win him the round. I think we'll go with the warrior. This is kind of a risk. But he needs 2 really big cards. Like he needs Sheetroll or Mortnart and Glusty Warp. He needs them both. And there's a chance we pinged one of the ones. We actually just made another one, which messes the math up, but we're up by enough that it might be good. We might win. Really wish we didn't ping this Rune Mage down to 1. So it's just a Parasite. We should win then. It's gonna be Glusty Warp, but it's not gonna be enough. Give me a GG. GG. Going up against Vampires. The Vampires are a very potent engine deck. We'll see if it's Renfri Vampires. Non-Renfri Vampires. Could also be Witch's Sabbath Vampires. Whole bunch of Vampire decks there are. Against this, in case it's Witch's Sabbath, we want to hold Squirrel. And we also definitely want our Monroe with the company. So this is a really nice start. I also want Broover. Definitely want Broover here. You don't have him, but some of these cards are good. Well, I guess Agitator's probably the worst. Okay. Be Necker out with this, or he's gonna go Operator Flutter. Operator Flutter's the scary play. Doesn't have it right now. Chariot would have been really nice at this point in the game. Question is, do we commit to Zoltan's Company Monroe round 1? I think we do. The only downside to doing this is we don't have a Peller to purify if he locks us. That's like the big downside. We also have a Chariot. The only thing is I'm pretty sure his long round 3 with Flutters is better than ours, so we do want to pressure here. And it's nice we can deny some value there with the Monroe transform. So we really want to bleed round 2 and then force out Regis. It's not the easiest thing to do though. But his long round 3 is better with the Flutters, I'm pretty sure. But this opening here, it tells me he doesn't have it in his hand, which is really good. Because that means we were able to do pushes like this. There's the lock. Like I said, we don't have a Purify, so that's just going to mess everything up for us. Was the one downside of doing this. Usually these decks don't run a lock though. At least in my experience. Throw another one of these down. We'll go for Novigradian Justice into the Guard, because we'll have a row here for the full boost. And a little thin. We do it the Garrison as well. He does have Flutter. This is really bad. So it means he's going to win this round. And we're going to have trouble round 2. And we'll still have to go up against his long round. So that's not great. We're going to have to rely mostly on tempo plays here. And that's not what you want to be doing against Flutter. We also don't have a setup for Zoltan Shive, and we can't play this melee. So we're going to have to pass pretty soon, which is bad. But if we go like this, Garrison, we have the potential to still win uneven.
There is no other way.
Okay, so it's not Renfri. That's good to know. I'm curious if he's going to lead her. There's a chance that the damage, like the Blood Moon hits this or this, and he doesn't get any value on his Flutter this turn. Which he definitely wants the value on the Flutter this turn, because it puts him ahead again. Let's see if he does. Yeah, that's the smart play. Although I'm putting on the shielded card less smart, potentially. Just going to throw that out there. We'll play our Zoltan Scoundrel. This is a really nice row we can boost here. I would like to play Garrison, I think, and then play the Zoltan. I think that would be good. But then again, we're falling quite behind here. On engine, like we don't have any engines left. So we just have this one tempo play and then this, and then possibly Barclay for a long round. We're just saying like point slam stuff. It's not Renfri. Oriana, that is scary. You can't kill her. This just wins him the round, so we have to pass. We can't beat the Oriana. So that's not good. It was Directory of Old, it's not Witch's Sabbath, by the way, because this is a 6. You don't want this coming back. So we're not going to need our squirrel this game. If he just straight passes, we can play Zoltan. It still carries over, even though we lose the deploy value. We could also play the Garrison for its carryover, but I think we can play the Zoltan. It does just carry over points. Let's just open right away with Garrison into the Brewer. Hopefully we draw Brewer. Oh, we already have Brewer. What am I talking about? I can chew him this round. No volunteers. It's the only card we don't want to draw. It ends Squirrel. So no Oneiromancy, but we've got most of everything we want. These agitators could... The thing with the bleeding, because it's vampires, is we don't get a lot of value from our armor. So the agitators are less great. Quite a bit less great, actually. I think we'll open with one anyway. At least give Brewer an armor and this Berserker an armor. We also like to give Zoltan Warrior an armor. Just a Necrot. I want some ping damage set up for when Zoltan goes. We could potentially just kill this thing. But I also want this Chariot out. We're going with the Chariot. If he has Toad Prince, it's probably coming down here on the Chariot. Not everyone runs Toad Prince, though. Getting a lot of bleeding here. So we get 3 units by playing... We get 3 units by playing you. I think that's a good idea. Whichever one we ping with our 1 damage will be good. We prefer this one, but either one's fine. That's fine. Toad Prince definitely coming down here if he has it, but I don't think he does, because he would have used it here. Okay, never mind. He does have it. A little bit annoying. It's a little bit annoying. So we got 6 units here. Not quite the setup we want for our Brewer. It's safest just to kill this, because he doesn't have leader charges, which means without it, Flutter is significantly worse. We do want to play Brewer soon, but we do only have the 6 dwarves out. We'd like to not deploy. You know, I mean the first turn from Brewer, you want to hit as many dwarves as possible in case they have a removal tool. This guy has shown the Crimson Curse. Detlef. Triss. Okay. See, I would have thought this is Renfri. Oh, the Blood Moon came from Detlef, didn't it? It is Renfri. Okay, so this is Renfri. You all know my opinions on this deck. Bruford dies to the destroy effect. I think we will go for this Berserker here. Give it the extra armor. Should ping the rest of the game, basically. So we want to go one more Dwarf, then Brewer.
Water. Poison.
This Garrison is basically going to end up as a finisher card, even though it's playing a thinning. Alright, it's going to come down to if he has a... He's already played a lock, so Brewer should do quite well. The Renfri can destroy him, which is the scariest part here. But if he can't answer Brewer, we should win. We could have boosted with Forge, but there's a chance... Still a chance he's running Heatwave and not Renfri. So vampires tend not to run a lot of specials anyway. So it's hard to tell with them sometimes. So I don't want to play into the Heatwave if he's running that. Okay, so it's Renfri. He probably should have done the boost. I'll see if he gets the one to double boost Regis. Makes Regis like a 50-point play. If he does that, we still get Brewer, though. So it's going to be up to him if he wants to destroy Brewer or try and go for that. He's going to go for the Regis one. It's going to be a huge finisher. It's the typical vampire thing. You guys know how it is at this point. I will play the Agitator here. Get another row boost from our Brewer. A lot of points, but Regis is going to be so big. Garrison's nice. There's the Renfri he's getting. Yeah, he didn't reveal this earlier. If it's earlier, we would have known. I think we... it's going to be close. Play Garrison. Garrison's really nice here. Get the Volunteers. Brewer's a crazy engine still. I mean, you do have to kill him. I think... Maybe he didn't see the destroy ability, or he thought this would be better. Regis is still huge. It's going to come down to whether Brewer gets us more points, or if Regis's point slam is big enough. And if this Flighter triggers again. We'll see. There's the Igni.
I hate portals.
We don't lose Brewer, we just had that one guard at the end, which is another great reason to play it. We'll play our Barclay here. This is going to be nice, give us a lot of points. This was supposed to be on the melee row, pretend you all didn't see that. Deploy this. Might as well put it on you. If we lose by one, it's because we were dumb, but I think we're far enough ahead that doesn't matter. I meant to play this melee, but then I tried to went to click Garrison and dropped him in that row. You know how it is, guys. And he's down by, what is this, 55? Let's see if Regis is big enough. I don't think it's that big. No, we're still up by 10. GG.
Damn it.
Guerilla tactics here? This should be interesting. This tends to be the kind of harmony with Saskia deck. They can also have Waylays, so we'll see which one it is here. Against that, it's nice to have Monroe, since they tend to not have blocks, in my experience. They do run poisons, though. So some of the versions do. We'll see. Just because the pings can actually get to Saskia Commander and kill her, but it's kind of unlikely to do that. But with Surrender, we only have to hit her twice, and we can hit the Surrender on the row. And if there's Saskia Commander, it'll fill up the whole row and get really good Surrender value. So this is a nice card to have. My guess is he just opens Saskia Commander. If he does that, I think we go Skirmisher.
As you command, Daisy.
Alright, so it's going to be a Waylay deck. gonna be a Waylay deck. We could Oniromancy Heatwave this thing. Or not Heatwave, because we're not running it. We could Oniromancy out like one of these tempo cards, Justice or Company. This is where Heatwave would be really handy. Because it's basically inside of Surrender. Let's play a Berserker. It's gonna hit it with the Waylay and remove its armor, but we don't have a lot of good choices here. We're gonna have to give up this round really quickly. Oh, that is interesting. We can't really play this round, I don't think. Hit this guy down once, I guess. We're not going to hit him down to his base power. Just wondering how many times we're going to ping him. It's the first Waylay. I am kind of tempted to Oniromancy Squirrel this to weaken his later plays. The Squirrel's also a card we're not going to want to draw later. I think that is a good idea. It signals to him we're out of this round. But if we can potentially mess up the Simloss stuff, it's good. He's going to have to... You usually have to play Scenario then to get another one, and I don't think this deck does. I think this deck runs the Sasuke Commander instead. So I think he won't get the 4 Waylays now. Problem is, if he is running the Scenario, that play gets countered, and we don't have a Heatwave to banish it, but I think this is usually a Sasuke Commander deck, so I'm not too worried about that. Do we need a Purify here? Well, we don't want to draw Mahakam Volunteers, so I think we'll keep this. We have our good engine cards. Let's see what he wants to do. If he has Scenario, he drops it right here for the tempo. Double activate.
The righteous shall be recompensed.
Okay, so we did mess up the Simloss a little bit there. That's nice. This also means there's an Erendite, though. And Erendite's a quite annoying card, if we're going to be honest. The problem with Dwarves that you sometimes run into is you don't have a great starting play. Just something we're having right here be a problem. It just dies to like Waylay or something. Guerilla Tactics, Milva. It's going to be hard to get any of our stuff to stick here, especially Brewer. Brewer's really low value because of how much movement he has. So it's this Scenario. Okay, we'll see if the Milva comes out here. No Milva means we go with Garrison into our Volunteers.
We're the best regiment in the whole plowing north.
Gives us some good tempo. We're going to need our Brewer here. We're going to need him to do a bunch on his deploy. The problem is we can't Brewer and use Monroe. We can use this guy in Monroe, though. Yeah, it's probably worth it. This is probably a good idea. He's going to want to use Milva on this. We should have played at this end to dodge Saboteur. I was thinking about Milva at the time. This should be over here to dodge Saboteur. We're going to get hit by the Saboteur now. And we're going to deserve it. Okay, we got lucky. Unless he generates it here. In this case, we still deserve it. Just the Dwarf. He's probably going to boost that, right? Leader charge it? No, he doesn't have to because of that. Scenario doing work here. He's going to have to use 2 leader charges to kill this. Or all 3. Do have Monroe as a choice here. I think we want to go Monroe.
What do you say we fight on my level, eh?
I think we drop this. He only has the one Milva left. He probably doesn't fear the Monroe because we don't have any more tokens out, and we can't actually make any. Not that he knows that. There's a poison. We knew that was coming. But we do have a Peller, so we'll drop that Purify here.
Ye who wander on the gale, ye we summon, ye we call.
We're not going to gain a card advantage, which is annoying. We're just not going to. But we'll play the Zoltan if he passes for carryover. We do have the Garrison carryover combined with the Company, potentially round 3. He removes our Barricade. We can't actually reapply that. Except with Barclay. So I think we do our Barclay turn here. He gets less value than normal. But it's nice to have this ping re-enabled, and it's a good tempo play to keep us a little bit ahead uneven. He has a lot of engines, but he only has 3 more cards. The scary thing is the Chameleon, because we don't have a way to kill it. But I'm not sure he'll play it. Or he is playing it, I mean. He has a lot of provisions caught up in other stuff still. So good play with Zoltan. Brewer secures the round, but if we don't have to play Brewer, we don't want to. Okay, I have no idea why he didn't Saboteur this earlier. He really should have. There's the Milva. He's probably regretting that choice right now. Do we Brewer? I think we want to Brewer last, so we get a double proc if he passes. We'll just do this. Hopefully he tries to kill it. We play into Igni here with these 3/7s, but he's got so much provisions and other stuff, there's no Igni in this deck. Don't have to worry about it. And this turn we'll boost up out of range with this anyway. He might pass here. If I was him, I would pass. He's not going to.
Only one with no
Here's the Waylays. We do have Brewer.
I'll do so sword in hand.
Got Brewer and Surrender, which is quite a bit of value. I'm not sure it's enough, though. He should mess up our Armored Row. If he can. But he might hold this leader charge. No, he's not going to. He shuffles her back in. Interesting. Go for the Oniromancy here. Get our Brewer. Brewer gets us how many a turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He gets us 8. Then he loses his armor. So you only get the 8. This guy's probably going to win. Probably going to win. We'll hit the Surrender. Yeah, we just didn't have enough turns of Brewer, it looks like. GG. We can't play him earlier because he has the leader charge. Going up against Imprisonment. We just have to hope it's not Cultists. Against Cultists without Heatwave, we really don't have many plays. Because we can't really keep up with their round 1. Maybe Monroe could. But we don't have... Well, we have him, but we don't have a lot of ways to spawn Dwarves. So it's me, Renfri Imprisonment. I despise this deck still. I just hate it. It's like my most played deck of the year, and it was only been out for like 3 months or 2 months. How do we beat them? We need round 1. Problem with this is we don't have our Peller, so we can't go Monroe Peller once he locks it. That's the problem. I mean, Agitator is good and all, but it's not going to help us against the lock. We have no way to get Bruver, which is the really key card for this round. So I guess we just play this and hope he can't... Nobody just decides not to lock it. That's like pretty much it. We just hope he doesn't lock it. Which he's going to, so. He doesn't even have to use a leader to lock it. Now, surrender is really good. I think we'll go Garrison. We need the tempo here. We need to threaten Bruver. Our saving grace of this long round is if we can surrender a row with a couple of these guys or something. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not great, obviously.
Coexistence, my ass!
Don't need to win on even, although it would be nice. We don't want to win on even. Okay. But so we don't want to do it if we have to commit a big card, but we don't have to. Our problem is he still has 2 locks on his leader. And it's Renfri, so like bleeding Renfri doesn't always end well. That's going to be our choice though. We have Oniromancy, which is nice. We're missing Bruver, Justice, and Company. We want Bruver and Company together. This is probably the least good card here. Justice is good. Probably just open with this. We spawn a bunch of rowdy dwarves. It's nice to have the order here. Let's see what this hits. I see. That's not bad. It's not bad. We want to play out Company. Or, Zolt and let him get Purified. So Purify is a low tempo move. We want to see if he has it. Yep, there it is.
The realm of the
It's
living
fine.
severs your chain. Abandon now your mortal stain.
Now we go with our Justice. Well, Justice is going to get... The best thing Justice can get is probably a Berserker, which means we want to do it sooner rather than later.
Next time it'll be personal.
He's going to lock this guy. He's going to lock the Chariot. I mean, that makes sense. But it's not the best. Let's kill the Chariot. I think we'll go Zoltan Warrior here. He's trying to be greedy and hold on to his stuff. We need him to play as Renfri here. We'll Bruver next turn. He might go for Renfri and try and get the 1 damage to knock armor off a bunch of cards. Be pretty proactive play, but then he doesn't have the Renfri. So lock. He has our lock in his hand then. I think we still play Bruver. I think we still do. Because even if he locks it right now, we've gained a bunch of value from him. Right? Like, he just gave us +8 and 6, so we just played for 14 anyway. The only bad card in our hand right now is this guard, because we don't have an end of a row spot for it.
I will not have you gaze at me so.
Okay, maybe he kills something. Okay, that's nice. He did kill something for us, so we'll drop him right over here. And we'll put this on the Rowdy Dwarf. No reason not to do that. Pretty safe from Igni. So we've got this Mahakam guard, which dies to it. So this is our Igni guard here. Oh, he's running Yrden instead. Well, that feels really bad. But nothing you can do. Do we leader? Leader gives an extra point with Barclay. You gonna be able to pressure him here? Yeah, I think we can pressure him. We'll do it. We need the Renfri order gone. We're still by 23. Surrender should hit pretty hard. There's a Vilga Fort. Well, that's pretty bad for us. Hit the surrender. He should win with Renfri, but he should have to use her order. Well, I guess he didn't have the Renfri in his hand yet. GG. This is why I push round 2 versus Renfri, because I don't want to play 3 rounds, and sometimes they don't have it. Onslaught. So this should be a good matchup because we have a lot of armor, and it should be hard for him to ping up this stuff on his pirates. Or to gain the armor, right? Because we have armor on most of our cards. We do want Squirrel then. Peller, probably as well. Issue here is our hand is very short on gold cards, as you can probably see. We want to go Agitator first in this matchup. And we'll use the Crystal Skull on this Chariot. But I want to Agitator first to see if he has a removal for him. So the bleeding will give him the damaged. Let's go with the Chariot. Monroe is a nice card here. But we went first, so we don't want him to commit too many golds here. I think we'll play it just with the second Agitator for now. Just boost up armor on our cards. Let's give armor to these guys. And just try and deny him carryover in the form of the armor gain from the passive on Onslaught. I think that's the play. Just play it slow. He might kill this. I mean, we can just re-armor here. We could also Purify. This is not a bad Peller target. Okay, I like that. We'll just... Well, we can ping this, and he gets armor this way then. It is a good Peller target, though. I think we'll just armor here. Play our Skirmisher. We should have like 5 armor from the 2 Agitators, so that should be pretty good. I almost think he wants to pass here. So the setup with the 2 Agitators makes what he's trying too hard. But he's going to go for it. We still have an Oniromancy. Still have a lot of gold cards in our deck. I think we let this Agitator die and like tank the damage. We'll just drop one of these guards, I think. One of them has 2 armor. Let's play the one with 2 armor. And we'll play the one with 1 armor. We've got the 2 Agitators still alive for this turn. Alright, hopefully this hits armor. We've got armor in all our units. Most of them have more than 1 armor too. And if any we do lose armor, I think we're fine with the Barclay just to deny the armor gain. If we could deny the armor gain, we're in a great spot. I'm gonna throw down Maxi. Let's see where these hit. Everything still has armor, so that's good. We'll just play a second guard here. We've got a fairly big lead, and he has not really any. He's got like +1 armor. So I'm kind of thinking he passes. Chariot doing a lot of work here. Agitator's doing a lot of work too. This is the kind of situation they're really good in. Yeah, there's the pass. And he has just the 1 armor gain. So if we can pressure this next round, especially going first, especially with armored cards, we should be in a good spot. Don't think we need the Peller anymore, although the Defender is really the problem, because if there's Defender, we have a worse Zoltan Warrior. But we don't want Volunteers. Okay, well, we're stuck with what we've got, because we don't want Volunteers. Stuck with what we've got. The reason I really like pressuring these types of decks is because they're usually Magic Compass. I would like this for Garrison, but I also want this for the company. We have a lot of really good gold cards we didn't draw yet. Company die. The company's worse, I think, because this is going to get killed. So we still have Bruver. Go with the company. He's going to be able to remove a bunch of these. But I don't want to just start with Monroe. Like, we don't have a great opening card. Don't want to play these because you can ping them for damage and get armor. So there's not a lot of great choices here. He's going to drop his scenario now. That is interesting. So it's scenario deck. Again, round 3 is not going to be very favorable to us. These transforms aren't super great because he's going to heal this. But I want to purify off the status on this guy. Hopefully Monroe lives, but I kind of doubt it. There's a heat wave. No heat wave for Bruver then. But he's holding off on using his order for the Bruver. Do you run Heat Wave and Heart of Terror? A little skeptical you do. This thing's still 14 provisions, so you can't Fukusha it. You could Singerfist right it. Then he has to play 2. This triggers a passive, so I think we'll play Barclay.
I've got to get this stinking mess in order.
This triggers a passive. It doesn't play like a card, so it's lower tempo for the second one. Okay, he's gonna go for something.
I suppose. And the end.
Let's not get in the way of me axe.
Do we Bruver? I think we just purify this status off. Let's give him a way to get a little bit of armor if he wants to hit it. So this is the last turn we have to pass before this thing heals. Heals and refreshes its order. Will Bruver be better in this round or next round? I think he'll be better in this round. But the thing is, with this heals, it's like a +7. And then it has the charge, 626. I think we passed. That's really bad. He gets +3 armor off of it. That was bad. We should have passed the turn earlier. I knew we should have passed the turn earlier, too. Do we really think he's going to revive this? That's the question. Oh, why does it have a Doom status in the graveyard? This is for Garrison, so we don't want this. Okay, well, we're stuck with Squirrel. So we're going to have to play it first, I guess.
Blood everywhere.
So this probably is Magic Compass. Zingerfist writes a epic, not a legendary, so you can't bring back the Drakkar with it. So we'd be playing Fukusha. We'd be playing Fukusha on Black Hand or Coral. You want more turns of Brewer. We don't have a good Dwarf opener. It's just kind of a problem. Actually, we do. We've got, what's him? The Zoltan Warriors. This is Zoltan Warrior. I think we go with the Zoltan Warrior. We're not going to boost him just because the threat of Heart of Terror. Like, Heart of Terror off of Fukusha. Or off of, what's it called? Be really bad. We want to leave this Surrender on the rightmost, by the way, as well, so we don't get combied too hard. So we definitely want to play as Garrison next turn. Like, Garrison Brewer. Definitely go Garrison Brewer. Go with the Volunteers.
We'll put Mahakam boots.
Now this guy's hit down a bit. I don't mind doing this. The Heart of Terror is less good on it now. So we boosted it once it had been damaged. I'm sure he's coming back. He's not in a bad spot here. Actually, maybe he can't trigger Magic Compass. That might be it. Maybe he can't do his Compass. Yeah, no, I figured he'd come back. I think he's going to win.
Stand before the Queen of Skellige.
So if he discards something big for Fukusha. Thankfully for us, we didn't run into a Croc on Crate yet because we don't have a way to kill him or lock him. Alright, what did he drop? Okay, he's going to go for the Fukusha on Croc on Crate. Or Bjorn. So these cards he can't discard. One's Pralika Skald, one's Magic Compass, or one's Fukusha. Now it's the Squirrel turn. I think I'm most scared of the Croc, honestly. And then we'll boost these guys up and give them their armor. Hopefully that blocks some damage. Yeah, see, one's Scald. One is Magic Compass. Oh, he top decked that one. It's annoying. I wonder what this one is. He could just run Fukusha. Could just run it. Brewer's not going to be great. It's like a +2 or something, so we'll play him.
Nothing like a dwarf to get you out of a tight spot.
It's not the best. If he goes for a combi, we lose our Surrender, which isn't too bad, because it's like a 6. Actually, it's an 8 on this row, but it's not too bad if he goes for the combi. Still have our Scoundrel, which isn't bad. Melee is currently better than ranged, if he plays a unit ranged. Otherwise, it's even. Let's see what this hits. My guess is it's going to be Brewer to remove the barricade. That's what it is. Going to kill the Brewer. So this is Magic Compass. Magic Compass is kind of... it's good. Do we row stack or do the boost? We're gonna surrender melee. I don't think there's anything that gets him points for the number of units he has out. Let's just do the 1 damage option. Let's do the 1 damage option, kill these, just in case there's something he wants them out for. But surrender should deal with a lot round 1, or row 1. Like, we should kill this melee row. So it's gonna be Fukusha. Hopefully he plays melee. Maybe we should have boosted so that he could have played melee. If we boosted instead of damage, he might have played this melee because the rows would look similarly full. But he might still play melee anyway. If it's Fukusha, it's going to be for Bjorn, which is not as good. Definitely got to banish the Croc. I don't think he has a card he can pick here that wins him the game. It's going to be Fukusha, but it's not going to revive anything good enough. We should win. Let's play melee too, make the surrender better. Thank you. Oh, this melee too. Well, this is going to be a GG. Surrender's going to do quite a bit of damage here. We're going to win by 10. GG. Alright guys, that's the Garrison Dwarf deck. What do I think? I really like it, except for the fact there's no Heatwave. Sometimes it feels like you really need Heatwave. And also, okay, it's good because, I'll talk about strengths. It's good for having a lot of tempo plays. Zoltan Warrior's a good tempo play. Garrison's a great tempo play. So is Novgorod Injustice. And these are big plays you don't always have in Dwarf decks. And it's really nice to have them. You also have the Broover Engine, and you've got the Chariots and the Dwarf Berserkers and Monroe engines. So that's good. What you give up for this is a bit of control. No Heatwave, no Erendite, no Gregory Vol, and you have only 1 Purify. So that's kind of what you're trading here. Do I think it's worth it? I kind of do. I think both versions are valid. I think they're both good. Garrison surprised me, by the way. This is really the star of the deck here. Garrison surprised me with just how good it is. In this deck in particular. I think it's better here than in Nilfgaard Soldiers. So, to spawn and play a base copy from your starting deck, it's really good to get volunteers. Right, because you're playing a 12-point play, which is nice, and it thins your deck by 2. It's what you could do with Justice before they reworked it a while back. But it's quite good. Or I guess they just nerfed the card. Yeah. But yeah, it was really good. It's a really good play. It means your Justice doesn't play 2 volunteers, though. Keep that in mind. But the Justice is still good on non-Mahakam volunteers, right? You play Novgorod Justice, you spawn a Dwarf melee, then you play your Mahakam Guard. It's usually the best play. If you have like 5 or 6 Dwarves in the melee row. It's a really big tempo play. If you have Dwarves melee, it spawns a 5, plays Guard out of your deck, Guard's like a 9. It's really big still. So I think you still probably want to run the Justice even with the Garrison. And you can use them alternatively if you want, but Garrison's definitely best on volunteers. And the orders what surprised me the most is I don't think we got a big one in these games, but sometimes, like I said, you just carry over Zoltan's Company. You just play Zoltan Company round 3, your Garrison installs this order. You just play this, the opponent plays a card, you drop like a Chariot and click the order, and the order is worth like 7 with an extra 7 armor total across your units, which is really nice. It helps set up your Broover. If say you play the Zoltan's Company and they hit it with row damage like a Lacerate, which I think might have happened in one of these games, then you just click the Garrison order and they are all boosted by 1 and they all get their armor back and you play Broover. So I think Garrison's quite good in this deck. The question is, is it worth giving up the control? Because like I said, we have no Heatwave, we've got no Gregory Wolf for the lock. The lock's really nice to have. It'd also be nice to have a second Peller in this deck. So I think we just run maybe 1 Agitator, 2 Peller to help deal with those locks, because locks really are the bane if you're this deck. So maybe that's a good idea. I'll probably try that out. And the other one is instead of one of these cards, you run Heatwave instead of Surrender. But it's up to you. Like you saw the games here, it's decked it pretty well. It does pretty well, I think. Yeah, we're 9-1 with it. 9-1 with this deck so far. This exact version. So it's pretty good. climbing up in pro rank pretty effectively with it. But I think it's pretty good. There's some changes you can make for sure. And against stuff like Cultulus, you don't have the Heat Wave with the Purify, so that's really rough. You also don't have it against Cultists, so you might just want to put the Heat Wave in here, just in case. Could actually argue to cut Bruver nowadays, since he's going to get locked, but it's up to you. Whatever you want to run. Heatwave is a card I would like to fit in here, and I'm going to try and find a way to fit it. But for now, guys, this will be it on this deck, and hopefully you guys enjoyed and learned something today. And if you did, and you're still around, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Keep forgetting to say it. But whenever I say it, the engagement goes up, so we'll say it. Anyway, guys, have a nice day. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. That'll be it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And you can check out some more videos over here. And thanks for watching.